From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 7, streaming now.
And we begin with a storm team alert. You might see a little snow on the ground before the night is over. Good evening to you at 7 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starrentino. Kevin joins us with your first look at the evening forecast. Kevin, how much snow are we looking at?
Snow continues, and I'll share some snowfall reports because they're works in progress. We're not to our total yet. This is in Avon. Just went out here between the 6 and 7 o'clock news. Catch a view at my house in Hendricks County as it continues with light snow. Martinsville 2.5, same for Vincennes, and then in Martin County, Shoals, which is southwest of Bedford, 3 inches of snow, 1.5 inches, as you can see in Bloomington. The next 3 hours, the most likely time we continue with light accumulating snow in the southern half of the state. Be especially cautious if you're driving southeast of Indianapolis on I-65 and I-74. You can already see from Lafayette to Terre Haute everything lightening up. That will continue to swing to the south and east. There's the view out in Putnam County. Temperatures, they're in the 20s, more than cold enough for this to create slick roads. Additional accumulation southeast of Indy between 1, maybe 2 inches of snow by 10 p.m.
Now to our continuing coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on Indiana. The State Department of Health says another 2,260 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with COVID-19. 40 more Hoosiers have died. The total number of deaths is now 9,432. Since March, more than 617,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for COVID-19, and more than 6.8 million tests have been administered in Indiana. In their weekly news conference today, state health officials discussed their plan to speed up appointments for COVID-19 vaccines in order to move to the next eligible group, ages 65 through 69. For now, first responders and healthcare workers and those at least 70 years old can make appointments to get to the vaccine. As WRTV's Kelsey Anderson explains, some wait times can be up to several weeks.
I spoke to Ronald Metcalf, and he says with a little bit of perseverance and some flexibility, he was able to get his COVID-19 vaccine 2 weeks before his scheduled appointment. He said he had to drive over an hour to get there, but every mile was worth it. Metcalf is in his 70s and tells me when the state opened up vaccinations to those in his age group, he was on the phone immediately and scheduled his appointment in Hamilton County. But he says his partner, who is under 70, wanted him to get the vaccine sooner and went to several different sites until she found him an appointment that day. They had to drive over an hour, but again, Metcalf says it's worth it knowing he can hug his family again soon.
I'm so happy to have it, and I want everybody to get their vaccine so that we can get back to normal. That is the best thing we will have in life. Never went through anything like this, and I'm anxious for it to end.
Once the vaccines are taken out of the temperature-controlled area and brought to the vaccination sites, they must be used that day. And lucky for Metcalf and his fiancée, his vaccination clinic had an extra Pfizer vaccine. So both he and his fiancée were able to get their first doses. He tells me now he and his fiancée both are scheduled to get their second dose of the Pfizer vaccine in Hamilton County. Even though she is under the age of 70, once you get that first dose, they will schedule you for your second dose to make sure none of it goes to waste. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
And if you're not in the current vaccine groups, there are ways you can get in line. The easiest way is to volunteer at a vaccine clinic. It's not guaranteed you'll get a vaccine, but if there are extras at the end of the day, you could get a spare dose. Those 60 and above could sign up to get leftover doses in their county.
Leaders in Fishers are anxiously awaiting an increase in vaccine supply, and they say they are ready to ramp up vaccination efforts as soon as they receive more doses. The mayor there saying he wanted to take an aggressive and proactive approach when it comes to protecting the community against the virus. The city has taken numerous steps to make that happen. Today, they sent firefighters to senior living communities to vaccinate residents there. Earlier this week, they opened a brand new mass vaccination clinic at an old grocery store, and they've been working to create a database of residents interested in getting the vaccine. This will allow them to identify homebound seniors so firefighters can bring the vaccine to them. It also allows them to have a standby list if there are leftover doses at the end of the day.
A lot of our elderly population, that vaccine unlocks the door for them to go see their grandkids. It allows them to go out to eat. It takes a lot of stress and relief off of them. So if we can do that efficiently, if we can communicate well with them, I think make the whole process as seamless as possible, that's a real win.
The mayor says they are ready to ramp up their efforts and begin vaccinating more people each day. They're just waiting on an increase in supply.
As hundreds of thousands across the country mourn the loss of loved ones to COVID-19, we want to help make sure that these people are not forgotten, not just a number. And that's why we're sharing stories of Hoosiers who have died with COVID-19. Jeff Lewis of Noblesville is remembered by his family as a free spirit who loved to spend time outside and work with his hands. He was an artist, a welder, a taxidermist, and a lover of everything nature. Lewis caught COVID-19 while at his assisted living home where he was being cared for due to having COPD. His family says it happened so fast, they were barely able to process that he was really gone.
Anybody who's lucky to have somebody like that in their family, I treasure every minute with it, because I feel like, life gets in the way and you can regret it. Just pick up the phone. I mean, that's really, I can say at the end of the day, just pick up the phone and just tell your loved ones that you're thinking about them.
If you've lost someone close to you to COVID-19, connect with us. We want to share their story so that those taken from us are never forgotten. You can reach us at facesofcovid@WRTV.com.
Some Hoosiers are still waiting for unemployment benefits from the state, and 2 women tell WRTV their patience is wearing thin. Shawnee Coder says all she wants is communication and transparency from the State Department of Workforce Development. The Wanamaker gig worker is thankful she collects Social Security, but is growing increasingly concerned. She has yet to see a dime under PUA since early December. That money, she said, is used to buy her husband's life-saving medications. Now, earlier this month, WRTV checked in with an Anderson mom of 4 who had to refinance her home after missing PUA benefits since late December. She says she finally got paid this week, but is frustrated with how the situation was handled.
This should be something. It should be a priority. It's people's livelihoods. It's their lives.
I am very scared that it's not going to work out, and that I should probably not even count on that money and just try to plan till tax time when I know that there's a more guaranteed amount coming.
Earlier this month, WRTV was told by the state those under PUA would start receiving benefits by the end of this month. Now, while some have, others like Teasley are still waiting. A spokesperson for the DWD says PEUC and PUA vouchers were made available January 22nd, but several under PUA won't actually see vouchers until the 29th. No reason was given as to why that was the case.
WRTV has received many messages about people struggling to receive their benefits. Vicki Roebling is one of those people. She's relied on unemployment benefits since she was let go from her job as a tool assembler at Black & Decker last January. She noticed she wasn't making very much money and found out her former employer had made a mistake. Paperwork was missing for the second quarter, so she was not paid at all during that time frame. The HR department rectified the situation and got the correct information to the state, yet Roebling has still not been paid her benefits after working on this since June. And despite, she says, sending in all of her pay stubs 4 times now.
It's very aggravating because you've got all the paperwork. Everything shows that it's missing. It's not my fault. So why aren't you fixing it right then? When you get that paperwork in your hand, fix it.
If you're having problems receiving your benefits, reach out to us at WRTV.com.
There are dozens of jobs in high demand, from those in life sciences to those in the trades. Our Hiring Hoosiers initiative is focused on connecting you to jobs and training programs. There's an expected shortage in the number of technicians needed to repair and maintain air conditioners and furnaces. We depend on both in Indiana. The HVAC program at the Area 31 Career Center is among those programs preparing young people for jobs in high demand. This hands-on vocational program has partnered with the Career Corporation, which has provided equipment for students to use for training.
When students come into a classroom, they not only receive academic learning and academic benefits, but they have the opportunity to develop and apply real technical skills that are highly valued by industry.
Programs like this is one way to help ensure that we have the investment in the qualified technicians to help support the future.
The Area 31 Career Center offers 29 other career and technical programs.
How can you be sure the information you're getting on social media isn't actually misinformation? Up next, why figuring it out is so important, especially when it comes to minority communities. We think of misinformation on social media often as something
for or against a political party, but sometimes it's much more. This week is News Literacy Week, and our entire company is taking a look at how fake news affects people and how you can spot misinformation. Cesar Rodriguez shows us how in minority communities misinformation can cause families to keep their kids from schools and parents from going to work.
We're just trying to provide, the information that community members should have.
Moises Moreno is on a mission to keep the immigrant community well informed.
This is more like a little pamphlet that community members make. The basic Know Your Rights, the first day that Donald Trump got elected.
Rumors in the community circulated online claiming mass immigration arrests. Moreno says that was a moment when pro-immigrant organizations created a rapid response network to educate immigrants with accurate information.
If and when ICE is spotted in the community, there is a process which we verify, making sure that the information that we get is valid.
And he also helps weed out rumors. Recently, some residents reported alleged ICE vehicles parked in their neighborhood. They thought they were there to conduct a raid. The reality?
From what we heard, there were some government agents that were there to have lunch at a local business.
The fear prompted misinformation online. Messages like this one warned immigrants not to go to work because of possible immigration raids. Immigrant workers were on edge.
I felt like I could not leave my house. Overall, if I had to pick one word to describe it, it would be destabilizing.
People's instinct sometimes is to respond, right? And again, that's a test of us to make sure that we follow our process and say we're not contributing to that misinformation or fear.
Fake news also caused tension in the community during the George Floyd protests. Although sporadic problems in the Chicago area neighborhood were stopped by police, it created paranoia. Alderman Byron Sixto Lopez is part of the Rapid Response Network. He blames extremist groups for posting black looters were targeting his neighborhood. The reality? Few issues were reported in his community.
There were fake social media posts that really were instigating violence in the community, that were instigating, pitching communities against each other.
Moises and Sixto Lopez recommend be skeptical if the social media post says, "I heard" or "I saw," but doesn't attribute the information to a specific well-known source or agency. Be skeptical if a post appears to be jumping to a conclusion, such as a poster seeing a dark SUV and posting that it must be part of an ICE raid.
Let's question the source first. Is it a viable source? Is it a credible source? We don't want to take the notion of fake news to heart, right? Because we understand that that's also a weapon that's used in our community to further divide us.
I'm Cesar Rodriguez reporting.
As you know, over the southern half of the state, we're tracking snow tonight. We'll also be tracking snow potential for the weekend. Details are straight ahead.
On any plumbing repair.
Could hard candy be the next way to screen for symptoms associated with COVID-19? Certainly sounds a lot better than the nasal swab, doesn't it? Well, a team of researchers at Ohio State University is working on a study to determine if fruit-flavored candy can be used to test for taste and smell loss from COVID. Associate Professor Chris Simons says for 90 days, people in the study will be required to identify the taste and smell of a specially created hard candy. They will then enter their results into a phone app. If the participant reports a sudden drop in taste or smell, they'll get a text message to test for COVID.
Who doesn't like candy, right? So in terms of if you have to test something every day, candy's a pretty good stimulus. With this candy, yeah, I think it would be nice, right? So if I'm tracking myself sort of daily, I would have been able to sort of see that less dramatic loss, right? And maybe that would have clued me in, something's going wrong.
OSU students will be the primary participants in this study. It's expected to begin early next month. The state of Oklahoma is trying to give back its $2 million stockpile of hydroxychloroquine. The Oklahoma Attorney General's office wants to send all of the state's supply back to the medical distributor. The Trump administration initially pushed the drug for use in treating coronavirus, but it later appeared to do more harm than good.
There's your cover of snow down in Bloomington, and anywhere from Indianapolis south is where we've seen the most snow, generally 1 to 2 inches with isolated higher amounts. So we'll wake up to this because temperatures stay in the 20s all night long. It's pretty much locked in place. You'll see improvement on the roadways, obviously, after Department of Transportation is working the streets pretty hard. Next 3 hours, the snow will gradually diminish from west to east or northwest to southeast. Visibility has been reduced in some of the heavier snow showers, under half a mile. Roads are slick with, I think, I-65 southeast of Indianapolis and I-70, the most problematic in Decatur County near Greensburg on I-74, reports of multiple slide-offs. Notice what I'm talking about from Terre Haute to Indy northwest, just some flurries in there toward Lafayette. It's south and east of that line where we'll continue with the light accumulating snow. All indications are additional accumulation will be under an inch. There's your visibility. Changes as these little pockets of snow slide through and at times drops the visibility below a mile. The confirmation of what we're talking about as far as the timing, 9 to 11, starting to push to the south and east. Watch a little plume come off of Lake Michigan. Those are some snow showers, flurries that will make it down all the way, it looks like, into Hamilton County on a north-south line. There's your additional snowfall potential. Should be an inch or less. Next 3 days, the highlight. Tomorrow and Friday, that with sunshine, temperatures stay in the low to mid 30s. We're at 39 Saturday, more on that in a second. Temperatures are on the cold side despite the sunshine returning as we get to the day tomorrow and on Friday. Friday, a little warmer, lots of sunshine around and temperatures mid 30s. The weekend. Rain, snow, sleet, all in play. The question is how much moisture will be converted to just snow. There's the potential in spots that it remains snow throughout the event, but I stress potential because storm track is not set yet. In areas that would see all snow, it could be the biggest snow of the season. Areas south may just have all rain before it changes over to snow late Sunday into Monday. That's a lot to think about, and we'll continue to monitor that, fine-tune the forecast as we get to the weekend. The immediate challenge, the next 3 or 4 hours with the light snow continuing. Then next week, we'll start to dry things out. Calm it down as well Tuesday and Wednesday. More news at 7 is right after this break.
Galleries. Live life comfortably.
A young karate student is getting a big kick out of helping his community during these tough times. Today, the guest of honor at Otterbein Franklin Senior Community was 12-year-old Julian Meyer. The residents wanted to thank Julian for his efforts at making their lives a little better during the pandemic. Julian is pursuing his second-degree black belt, and one of the requirements is to do a project that has a positive impact on his community. Julian decided to raise money for the Benevolent Care Fund at Otterbein Franklin. He created and posted a video on Facebook and recruited his classmates to help him raise the money.
I started collecting money. I just asked them spare change, a couple dollars. Some people donated like a few dollars. Some people donated $100. It made me feel really good. I was just like, I have a short time limit, so I just better go something big but not too big, and I said $200, but as you heard, I went way past that.
Good for him. Julian raised more than $8,000 for the fund, and today he presented the check and received an appreciation plaque.
Way to go. That is awesome. We appreciate it. An environmental activist is recycling discarded potato chip bags to make bedrolls for Detroit's homeless. She got the idea from an online video of an English woman who made sleeping bags from empty snack pouches. She thought the same thing could work with potato chip bags since they have a foil lining which can reflect body heat just like a space blanket. They're also durable, waterproof, and lightweight. It takes about 150 empty potato chip bags to make one sleeping bag. What an effort there.
And a cold night tonight with snow continuing for about the next 3 hours by 10 o'clock. Diminishing, and the accumulating snow will be an additional inch or less. I think the inch amounts may be south and east of Indy. See you at 11. Mark and Amanda.
And thank you for making WRTV your choice for news.
And as Kevin said, we will see you tonight at 11. Have a great evening, everyone.